Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel, whichever's more appropriate. We're working on Old Blue today. We got a lot of work to do. This might be a long video. Get comfortable. Here we go, let's get to work. Quite the list on the old Explorer today. We're gonna get started on some easy stuff, just to get some progress done. Feel better about the project, you know what I mean? Old Blue still has his airbags. That's bad news. We need to get those out of there before I break my nose doing something stupid. Starting on the driver's side here, got a little cap pop off there somewhere. Boink. There's a bolt. Another one on the other side. Now the thing about airbags is sometimes they'll blow even if the battery's not hooked up. I like to do one of the little touch the terminal things for a couple seconds there. I don't know if it does anything, but it makes me feel better. Alright, we got the two bolts out of the side, 8mm in case you're wondering. Got a little clip here, clip there. There we go. Driver's side's done. Okay, passenger side, you gotta start removing the glove box. Remove the glove box, you can pinch the two sides in, push them past. That whole thing will just fold down, out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and take it the rest of the way off. These three bolts right here, we just don't need a glove box in this machine. All right, and the glove box underneath, I believe it's this one and this one. Let's see. Okay, I got the two bolts out. There we go. Pop out of there. Oh dear. Two hands. All right, feel better already. Now the purpose of taking out at least this side airbag is for one, it doesn't pop in her face, and two, I think I'm gonna run my air intake right through here. That way we got air intake in the cab. So here's the air intake that's on it now. Little PVC pipe up to a coffee can. It didn't work so well. What I'm thinking about doing is taking out the radiator coolant, the washer tank, all this garbage, the blower fan, and just turning it 90 and running it straight through there right into the glove box. That's the plan. But first, this hood's gotta go. It's just gonna be a new thing. All hoods gotta go. Here we go. Look at that, we are early in this video and we already got a strong pile of, you don't need it. Pretty strong pile of it so far. Okay, I'm gonna get ripping into this. Check back in with you guys. Yep, got the blower motor off. Mice have been there. Look, you can tell. You can tell where they've been. They're mice. This is why I have cats. Now, I can't blame this one on the current cats. I know it's been in there for about a decade. That is a big bunch of mouse house. Oh my goodness. Wow. I was gonna take this whole HVAC thing off, but I think I can just run it right through that hole there. Let's see what the inside looks like. Well, this is the inside about where that is, and I can feel this waffle here on this plastic. Yeah, I think the move might be to break a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, let's give that a shot. Oh, yeah. All right, so that's where my hole's gonna be. That's how I know. Concrete tools. Haha, form pin. They can be used for a lot of things. Look at that, fits. Had to do some ramrodding, some breaking of some plastic. There's a flapper door. It almost fit through the flapper door, but in the end we had to break it up to get it in there. So from here we'll probably have to section a few pieces together to make it all make sense and connect to the air tube right over here. But we got the mass airflow sensor on the bench over there. It's pretty nasty. Let's go take a look at it. Here's the mass airflow sensor from the Explorer. Now 10 years ago I was trying to make a snorkel out of this and I cut it. Usually has like a flange on there where the air filter housing would be, but I cut it so I could get a pipe rubber adapter on it, and it actually held pretty tight here. It was everywhere else the water was getting in. This isn't pretty, but it'll work. It'll work again. But I can definitely clean up that mass airflow sensor. It's pretty dirty in there. Usually I just take some brake clean, spray them out. They have special mass airflow parts cleaner, but I have brake clean. That seems to work okay. If I want to get real in there, I get a Q-tip, but this is going to be good enough, I'm sure. It probably just should be replaced, to be honest with you. It's been tortured for years, this old mass airflow sensor, but she still runs when you hit the key, so we're going to send her back in there. Okay, this was the desired outcome. Look at that. All the way into the cab. Let's go look at it in there. Okay, right here on the passenger side where the old glove box used to be, there's the air intake. So the water can get up to here, I guess. $0. Still, we're up to $0 today in this video. Let's keep on moving forward. It's another beautiful day. And it's time to get to the second part of this project. Here we go. Now, the factory gear set in this two-door sport model was $327. Little high. But this old disaster has 373s in it. It's a little bit better. Huh? So we're talking about a whole lot of work for not much of a gain. I guess it's not technically free. I bought this thing years ago, but it's already here. I already have it. To me, it's free at this point. 373s are free. Let's get to work. Now, while I'm in there, I am going to go ahead and weld up the front end of old Blue. We'll see how good those independent axles do with a whole lot of throttle on a welded front end. Probably not great. We'll see, though. I'm going to try. Now, the old Tan Explorer's seen some damage around these parts. Hasn't been fired up in a while. Let's see if we drop a battery in and drive this thing in the shop. That'd be nice. That'd make things a lot easier. Put a new frame under and she's ready for daily driving service. As she made it in the shop, bottomed out here on the concrete. It didn't do any damage there, that's good. Looks like the shock does have, you know, flat tires, broken knuckle, no brakes, blah, 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 blah. It still drove itself in here. Yep. Okay, only got to do that 3 more times, right? Then I can pull the diffs. Okay, here we go. The other side done. Let's get the drive shaft next. That's the job I really didn't want to do. I'll show you why. Here's our front drive shaft we're taking off now. There are heads on these bolts, but it's too thin to get a socket on around them. But thankfully, or unthankfully, they all have a Torx pattern inside the bolt. So that's usually the better way to go. I'll show you what I mean after I clean them up here. Okay, we got them cleaned up real good. It looks like the T30, maybe you can see, T30 is the fit. Okay, tip from a Midwestern guy living that salt life. Everything's rusty. A little bit of heat goes a long way. I get these little map gas guys. I guess they burn hotter than other. I don't know. It's no acetylene torch, but it does make a major difference. So I'm going to heat up every one of these before I break them loose. Let's see if we got everything ready here. Nope. Ooh, there we go, we got it. Success. Now this method is time consuming and naturally everything's hot now. So it's why I was dreading doing this, but need to change your drive shaft on trail and you break one of those off and you didn't heat it up, it's gonna be a long day, guys. Way better to take the time, use the heat, than to snap a bolt off there, than have a yoke problem trying to extract that bolt. Now the good news here, if I do snap a bolt, I got 2 tries. I got 2 different yokes. I think they slip off the pinion, so I should be able to interchange them. Here we go. Look at that. Still smoking off the threads there. Naturally, we're going to wait for that to cool off before we go popping it off and laying it on our arm and burning ourselves. Always time for breaks, guys. Now, I've never bothered taking one of these front differentials out. This is actually the first time for me from this point forward here. I mean, I've popped a drive shaft off, and from there, I've never taken it. But doing just a little bit of research, I figured out that there are 3 bolts holding this front differential in. Now, with everything covered in mud, it's very hard to see, but this is how I figure these things out in these situations. I go on Google, and I Google the part I'm looking at, and just a picture of it. What I did is I Googled a front differential for an Explorer, came up on eBay, slide through a couple pictures of what people already have out of vehicles, and I can see where these bolts are. We're going to remove the drive shaft. Anytime you're ready to remove a drive shaft, you may use, again, the U-joint especially. Find you an old crusty roll of tape to tape that U-joint to itself so that the caps don't pop off there. Hopefully there's enough in this roll. Probably not. Alright, there we go. That way next time we're playing and we need a drive shaft or you lose a U-joint, we know where one is. Still be under this old turd. Don't know how seeable that is, but that's the motor mount, and that's one of the differential bolts. That looks like that's one's going to be pretty difficult to get to. There's the other right underneath, pointing straight down to the ground. Third one's somewhere over here in this muddy mess, next to this actuator. Now the 2000 won't have this actuator. It's a live axle all the time. This is only a 95, 96 kind of ordeal. That's where we're going to take all the guts out of this case and put it in the 2000 case. It's just one less thing to go wrong there. Although I've never had one go wrong. They always work. Okay, we got a whole mess of extensions, wobbles, a socket, coming all the way down to here where the drive shaft is. Let's see if we can't zip that bolt out of there. Sounds like it came out of there. No, it's not on the socket. Success. 1 bolt, 3 more to go. Here we go. Alright, 2 of the 3 bolts are on this side. We're going to start zipping this one out and see if it doesn't start dropping. We got nothing supporting the diff, so. Oh yeah, it's moving. Okay, we better get something on that diff so it doesn't fall. Alright, never mind how insanely unsafe that looks. It's fine. Guys, it's fine. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Didn't move a bit. All right, 1 more to go. She'll be free. Okay, there's that 3rd bolt. I already took off some things from the actuator, a couple vacuum lines, and an electrical plug. Let's see if she zips out. Now what has happened is the tab that holds that nut on the backside is broken. Luckily they still put a head on that nut, So I'll be able to slip a wrench over it, zip it the rest of the way out. So to clarify, here's the nut, here's the tab. Tab broke, but as you can see, I can still get a wrench on that. Oh, got it. Success. She's out of there. At least that part is. There we are, bolt number 3. She's floating in the air. I think all that's holding it up is the jack and maybe the vent tube. I don't know. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can't ease her down out of there. Oh, come on. Just hanging there. Oh, there it goes. I think the mud was the only thing holding it in place. It's out now. Well, there she is. She's out. Got to do the whole thing over again on the other one, so I get it out. Here's a little bit of Ford Explorer tech for you, some things I ran into as far as transfer cases go. Now this is a 96, and it had the front axle disconnect. That means the dash looks like this. Here, we have 2-wheel drive, 4 auto, and 4 low. That's how 96 did it. And this is how it looks like after that. At 97 to 2000, maybe 01, I'm not entirely sure, you have auto, 4 high, and low. That means there's no real 2-wheel drive option. As a result, Ford used a front viscous drive setup, which if you're not familiar with, it's kind of like a clutch for the transfer case. I don't really know how to explain it that well. It's for soft input, so you don't go shattering things. That way, when the ABS tricks, that your rear wheels are moving faster than your front, it kicks on the 4-wheel drive and sucks those front wheels in. Less slip, no thinking about it. Now the reality of this is on the road, it was terrific. If you live in a snowy climate and this thing would automatically just go in and out of 4-wheel drive seamlessly, cuckoo cuckoo, what a great system. But even with just mild off-road abuse, the viscous drive just does not hold up. Cuckoo cuckoo. Here's what I did. I went and got a transfer case out of actually a 92 Explorer, which is about the same transfer case that's in the 95, 96s, and it doesn't have the viscous drive. I also used the front drive shaft. Now that one was an automatic, this one's a standard. And I'm not entirely sure if that matters, but what I do know for sure is this drive shaft is a bit too long. I really had to get a pry bar in there, and it just fits. Now there's no, obviously with independent suspension, once it's in there, it's in there. It's not like it's moving back and forth, so it's worked just fine. But getting this out should be a bit of a challenge. So back here at the dash of the 2000 with the 92 transfer case. Now here's the funny part. The shift motor from the 2000 will bolt onto the 92. But you lose 4-wheel high in this scenario. You can go from 2-wheel high to 4-wheel low, and it'll work. Now, the back of that transfer case where the shift motor bolts on, you can unbolt that shift motor and it'll actually be marked 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. And you can manually switch it around. So say you got some beater with a heater you're out playing in the woods with, and it won't shift into 4-wheel drive. You can take those 3 bolts off and just throw that motor away if you'd like, and then manually switch it over to low range and never take it out again. Somehow though, all the shift motors I have on all these Explorers all somehow still work. I don't have much of an explanation for that. They shouldn't. They've been dipped in water. I don't know. Alright, after I spoke so highly of those shift motors, let's see if they work. I need this thing 2-wheel drive so I can spin the drive shaft around. So we put the shift motor in 2-wheel drive. Let's see if that worked. Look at that, worked. Freely spinning. Now we can take those bolts off. I get on this freeze plug while some bolts I had to heat up are cooling. So here's our leak. Freeze plug popped out. Now you can pop metal ones back in. A better mechanic than me probably could. I have a bad habit of just feeding engine blocks freeze plugs. I've never successfully put one in correctly, but well, I put a few of these guys into place. Think I can handle this. Oh, maybe not. Okay, she's in there. All right, I got that first bolt out on the differential of the Blue Explorer. And as you can see, it's a tab bolt. The tab broke, so I had to put a wrench on it. But before I did that, I went ahead and put my thumb on it and then hit the impact. And yeah, it tore it up pretty good. Good thing I got a good old lady in there to patch me up. Getting back to work, though. It's finally out. It was a battle the whole way. But it's out. That one darn near jumped out of there. That one fought me the whole way. But it's out. No worries. It is another beautiful day. We're back out here on the shop on this project. We got the diffs out. Let's take a look. Here we are on the bench. On the left, we have the 96 with the 373 gear ratio and the old style housing that's got the actuator in it. So we need to move all this to all here. Let's make a mess of this bench. Here we go. All right, let's get to spinning bolts. All right, gentle taps, destroy stuff, use the wrong tool for the job, check. Are you supposed to hit that with a hammer? Probably not. Okay, there's some fluid in there at least. We're tearing the 96 cover off. Let's see what's in here. All right, a little bit of fluid. Man, that fluid's clean. Dang, somebody loved this thing. Hey, try as we might, we're still making a mess. Oh well, we probably should start at these pinions though, get these pinion nuts off, and we'll spin it around and go from there. Okay, this is the wrong side socket. Let's see if we can get away with it. It's a lot of slop. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. Might have to go buy a socket. Yikes. Maybe not. Close enough, I guess. Take that yoke off here. Oh, yeah. Pulls right off there. Now that's out of the way. Spin this thing around. Get to the other side. Alright, this is the first time I've had one of these differentials over. It looks like there's a roll pin keeping the cross pin in. And it looks like you hit it this way, and there's just a cavity back here. Or maybe you're supposed to hit it this way and knock it out. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have a punch that skinny, so, you know, I'll have to sacrifice an old screwdriver, I guess. But need to get that pin out. Alright, I cracked the code. I got the roll pin moving. I had to sacrifice an old screwdriver, cut the nub off of it, beat the handle off of it. I always keep cheap screwdrivers around just for such an occasion, but fits through this hole in the back. I'm able to just send that pin home. Boom! She's out of there. Now we got our tool stuck, but it's alright. There we go. We got it. Okay, now with our cross pin out of the way, or not our cross pin pin for the pin, it's out of the way. We can move on to this little clip retainer. Now on a rear axle, or in some front axles, the axle would be poked all the way through. You'd have to remove this pin, push the axle forward, pull the clip out to release the carrier itself. This one only has one on one side because it's the independent front suspension. So this side doesn't actually have a axle or a clip or anything in it. It's the actual CV that boots in there. So hopefully we can keep that in place when we go to weld this. Okay, so apparently you just give that intermediate axle a good shove and it pops right out of there. It's popped out on that end. So this will be easily enough. I can just pull the carrier straight out from there in the pinion and it's apart. 96, however, is different. Now this is where you would select the four-wheel drive gear. I don't know if you can see, but there's a big giant clip. Get that shoved over there. I don't know. There's a big giant clip that's got to come out there, pushing out the little stub shaft to let the intermediate shaft go, allowing you to pull the carrier out. My goodness. We're over here at the 96 and we got that big silly clip off that thing. Let's see if we can pull this shaft out. Indeed we can. So there's the shaft that goes to the CV. It goes here to the selector. It goes to the intermediate shaft. At least it's only been kind of messy. Yeah, kind of. I've been learning a lot about these axles here. I still haven't found a drain plug. That would have helped the mess situation, but hey, whatever. We're rolling forward. Alright, so we got intermediate shaft out. This whole thing should come out. Oh yeah, there we go. Out. Can I get that too? I'll have to beat that through. Okay. The noted lack of walls also means a lack of electricity. I just got an extension cord there running lights, so busted out the generator so I could run the old cheap Harbor Freight welder and do a piss poor job of welding the spiders and the carrier. But it's gonna work. It's good enough. It's not good enough to show you guys on camera. It's embarrassingly bad. I'm not a good welder, but this will work. This will work. We got a front posi now. Alright guys, it's several days later. It's a bit windy. We're back at the Ford. And the plan has changed. The plan has changed dramatically, actually. Especially in the not spending a dime department. I can't put these back on. Now you may ask yourself, why are we here? It's story time. In this video up. Now, once upon a time, I had high hopes for this thing. It didn't turn out so well, but I bought 488 gears to put in the front and rear of this thing, and didn't help it much. But what also happened was I ordered a set of front gears, and the first came wrong. Couldn't really get a refund. I probably could have, but I didn't bother getting a refund. And the gears laid at Buddy's house for years. Then he says, I think those gears you got the first time will fit your Blue Explorer. And he says, I still have them, by the way. Long story short, there's a 488 ring and pinion in this 8.8, and it'll fit any 8.8. So, I got 488s for the Blue Explorer. Hooray! It's a lot better than 373s. Now, tearing this thing down wasn't all for naught. I did need the carrier for this one. The Dana 35 has a carrier brake at 331. The Blue Explorer, 327. Tan Explorer, 373. This carrier is the carrier I needed for the front end for the 488s to work anyhow. So this video took a turn for the better. But I did go on Amazon. If you heard of this, I don't know if you've heard of it. And I spent some money. You'll have to see the rest of that in part 2, though. Sorry to leave you hanging like that, guys, but check back with us later. Thanks for watching. Not spend a dime. What was I thinking? What was I thinking?